You're wasting hours switching between your code editor, terminal, and browser. You're stuck babysitting your AI coding assistant instead of building. You're debugging code you didn't write and can't fully verify. Meanwhile, Google just dropped something that changes everything. I'm Ava, and I help people understand and implement AI tools that actually work. When you're learning AI tools, there's a lot to figure out. Which workflows actually save time? Which features are worth using? That's where community helps. AI Profit Boardroom has 1,800 members, all focused on learning AI together and sharing what actually works. The community shares real use cases and practical implementations. If you're serious about using AI to improve your work and skills, check it out. Link in description. I've been testing Google AntiGravity since it launched on November 18th, and it's completely different from any coding tool I've used before. Not better at everything, but different in ways that matter. Let me show you what's actually happening here. So what is Google AntiGravity? It's Google's new coding platform that launched alongside Gemini 3. But calling it just a coding platform misses the point. This is what Google calls an agent-first development environment. That means instead of AI suggesting code while you type, you're managing AI agents that can plan, code, test, and verify entire features on their own. Here's what makes it different. Traditional AI coding tools live in a sidebar. They auto-complete your code, they suggest improvements, you're still doing most of the work. AntiGravity flips that completely. You describe what you want built. The agents handle everything. They write the code, they run terminal commands, they open a browser and test the actual application. They take screenshots and record videos showing you what they did. And this is free right now. Google released it in public preview for Windows, Mac, and Linux. No payment required. Just download it and start building. Let me explain how it actually works because this is where things get interesting. AntiGravity has two main views. The editor view looks like Visual Studio Code. You can dive into the code, make changes, work hands-on when you need to. But the real innovation is the manager view. This is what Google calls mission control for your agents. In Manager View, you're not writing code, you're orchestrating agents. You can spin up multiple agents working on different tasks simultaneously. One agent builds the front end, another handles back-end logic. A third writes tests. They all work at the same time without you switching between windows or manually coordinating everything. The agents operate across three surfaces: the editor for writing code, the terminal for running commands, and a Chrome browser for testing your application. Most coding tools can only touch one of these. AntiGravity controls all three simultaneously. Here's a real example. You tell an agent to build a flight tracker app. The agent creates a task list. It scaffolds the project structure. It installs dependencies through the terminal. It writes all the necessary code files. Then it launches the app in a browser, interacts with it like a user would, and captures screenshots showing the final result. All of this happens without you touching a single line of code or clicking through menus. Now I know what you're thinking. How do you trust an AI doing all this work? Google thought about that. They built something called artifacts. Instead of showing you raw code outputs and technical logs, agents create deliverables you can actually understand and verify. Task lists showing what the agent plans to do. Implementation plans breaking down each step. Screenshots capturing the state of your application before and after changes. Browser recordings showing the agent clicking through your app and testing features. Let's talk about what's powering this. Google built AntiGravity to showcase Gemini 3 Pro, their newest model. Gemini 3 handles the complex reasoning and task planning, but you're not locked into only using Google's models. AntiGravity also supports Claude 4.5 from Anthropic and GPT-OSS from OpenAI. You can switch between models depending on what works best for your specific task. For browser automation, Google uses Gemini 2.5 computer use. This model controls the browser, clicks buttons, fills forms, and captures everything the agent does. For image generation and editing, AntiGravity includes Nano Banana, which is built on Gemini 2.5 image. When I first started using AntiGravity, I was overwhelmed by all the features and possibilities. One thing that surprised me is how it handles parallel work. You can have one agent researching best practices while another agent builds a feature. You're not waiting for one task to finish before starting the next. This is genuinely useful when you're building something complex with multiple moving parts. Sometimes agents make decisions you wouldn't make. Sometimes they choose approaches that seem inefficient. You need to verify their work. That's why the artifact system exists. Always review what the agents produce before shipping anything to production. Rate limits are calculated based on the work agents do, not just the number of prompts you send. Complex tasks that require lots of code generation and browser testing consume your quota faster than simple requests. If you hit the limit, you wait until it resets. For now, there's no paid tier to bypass this. Google hasn't announced pricing yet. The current preview is completely free for individuals. They mention team and enterprise plans coming soon, but no details on cost or features. For hobbyists and people learning, free access with rate limits might be enough. For professional development teams, you'll probably need to wait for paid tiers. The platform works best for certain types of projects: web development, prototypes, MVPs, demos. These are ideal use cases: building a landing page, creating a data dashboard, scaffolding a new application. AntiGravity excels here. For large production systems with complex security requirements and strict coding standards, you might want more manual control. Who should use AntiGravity? If you're a solo developer or small team trying to ship faster, this is worth exploring. If you're building prototypes or testing ideas, the speed is valuable. If you want to learn by watching how AI approaches problems, the artifacts and documentation help you understand different coding patterns. If you're working on mission-critical systems or handling sensitive user data, wait for the security model to mature. If you need very specific coding standards that don't match what the agents produce, you'll spend more time correcting than building. If you're in a highly regulated industry, the current preview might not meet your compliance needs. Google's positioning this as the future of development. They want AntiGravity to be your home base in the era of agents. That vision assumes developers will increasingly orchestrate AI rather than write every line themselves. Whether that future arrives depends on how well these tools deliver on reliability, security, and trust. When you're learning AI tools, there's a lot to figure out. Which workflows actually save time? Which features are worth using? That's where community helps. AI Profit Boardroom has 1,800 members, all focused on learning AI together and sharing what actually works. The community shares real use cases and practical implementations. If you're serious about using AI to improve your work and skills, check it out. Link in description. If you're curious about agent-driven development, download it and experiment. Build a simple project, see how the agents work, test the artifact system. You'll quickly understand whether this workflow fits how you think about building software. If you're looking for a production-ready tool for client work or serious projects, wait a few months. Let Google work out the kinks. Let the community discover best practices. Let the rate limits stabilize and pricing become clear. Google AntiGravity represents a real shift in how we might build software, not just faster coding. Different abstraction layers. Whether this becomes the standard way to develop or remains a niche tool depends on how Google addresses security, reliability, and scalability. For now, it's a fascinating experiment. Free to use, powerful in specific scenarios, limited in others. Worth exploring if you're interested in where development tools are heading. That's Google AntiGravity. Download it, try it, form your own opinion. And if you want to learn alongside people who are actually implementing these tools, AI Profit Boardroom is the community I trust. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching. I'm Ava. I'll see you in the next one.